everyone, and welcome into Beef O'Brady's. And we want to welcome all the people who are here tonight. We had a nice crowd on hand at Beef O'Brady's. We're here every Wednesday night, and we are here for the Hoover High School Football Coaches Show with the head coach of the Hoover Bucks, and that, of course, is Chip English. And what a much better Wednesday this is than last Wednesday, huh?
It's a lot better when you win, for sure. So appreciate you having us.
Yeah, well, the Bucks were victorious last Friday night in a come-from-behind effort. They won it by a score of 48-23, shutting out Prattville the second half. Coach, it was a tale of two halves, really.
It was. You know, we unfortunately got off to a bad start again, but really proud of the guys. They were able to bounce back, and you know, going into the halftime down 23-14. They could have folded, but they didn't. They responded, and can't say enough about them. The energy that we had was a lot different, and so because of that, I feel like we were playing at a much better pace offensively. Defensively, we're able to kind of get after it. So the goal there is just to keep that momentum going.
Well, last week you talked about the fact you felt that your team was getting close, and then after the first quarter, I'm thinking, man, it's starting off the way you didn't want it to start off.
Yeah, with two turnovers that resulted in scores, we put ourselves into a hole, you know, and they were able to put a drive together, and next thing you know, it's 20-0, and we're looking around like, wow, is this happening again? So those things got to be cleaned up, you know, and Caleb took some responsibility there on those turnovers. There was a lot of factors that factored into it, but ultimately he has to take care of the ball. And whether that's throwing that away or just taking the sack, we can't turn the ball over like that moving forward.
One of the things that gave me confidence in that ball game is that their defense scored the points. The offense were really not able to do much against your defense. Yeah,
outside of the one drive, we really had a good night defensively. I think they had like 24 carries for 60, 70 yards right there. So was really able to shut the run down. They did complete some footballs for a couple first downs, but overall defensive, we played really, really well. Created some turnovers, and that was big. That was something that we needed to, the next step for those guys was to really, not only get after the quarterback and shut down the run, but create some turnovers, and that's what we're going to need down the stretch. So happy to really see that. Javon Pulliam had a night. I think he had six tackles, tackle for loss, a sack, a strip. He picked it up and, almost scored there. So really, really got after it up front defensively, but we flew around in the back end too. So overall, really great defensive night.
Well, talking about Pulliam, he also knocked down two passes too. So
yeah, two batted balls. So it was a big night for him. He was very active. He played with a lot of energy. And so when you have really good players that play at a high level, typically the results are good.
Coach, what was the attitude? I know that your sideline and the fans were just off the charts in that game Friday night. And when you get down 20-0, you have a tendency, you would think, to have your shoulders drop a little bit. But the guys responded well.
They did, and our message at halftime, we were able to put some points on the board right there before half, and the momentum could have shifted. They ended up getting 3 points right there at the end of the half, and we had an opportunity to either shut down or respond. And the locker room was good at halftime. There wasn't any woe is me, or nobody feels sorry for us. So we put our foot in the ground. We changed the momentum right there and was able to come out defensively and shut them out. And then offensively, we had a really good second half. So proud of the guys. It is what it is. I told the guys the fun's over. The fun is in the winning. So now it's time to really get down to business, and the guys responded well to that.
Not to beat it into the ground too much, but what was the difference between outside the turnovers between the first half and the second half offensively?
Not much. In the first half right there, we had two scoring drives. I think we had 5 drives total in the first half. 2 of them were turnovers. The one turnover was, us on our side of the football, or our side of the 50 going in. So, we did some good things, got some first downs. So the turnovers is really what did it, in regards to making that score lopsided. So, 2 out of the 5 drives we scored on. The other 2 was turnovers, and then we punted once. So it wasn't that we were doing bad. We just have to, maintain drives and be able to finish drives with kicks, whether that's punts or extra points.
The running game also was there on Friday night.
Well, you look at, J.R. Mosley, he's our first 100-yard back. And so he had 11 carries for 110, a touchdown, and I think he had 5 first downs. So touching the ball 11 times, 6 of those times either moving the chains or scoring was really big for us. And he's just now getting back to where he's, above that 90%, close to the 100% mark. So, we look forward. We're going to lean on him a lot moving forward. And so, we all know having the run game allowed us to do some things in the passing game. But, overall, we had 599 yards, over 300 yards rushing. So when you have those numbers, you have a good chance of winning.
I remember when you were talking early before the season even started at the media day, you talked about how JR was a consistent player in practice. Monday through Friday, he was always the same. He shows a little different look running the ball than what we've seen earlier this year. He just is relentless. He doesn't go down until the whistle blows.
Yeah, he really does. And our running backs coach, Coach Jackson and Coach Richardson, they do a good job of making sure our guys finish runs. And so because of that, you saw JR get several yards after contact, and had a big run around the right side where he took the corner one-on-one and just absolutely blew through him and kept going. So, it's plays like that allow us to have the energy on the sideline and really get the guys going. And, we feed off each other, right? So if the offense has a big series, the defense is ready to go out and do the same thing. So we got to feed off that energy, and JR is definitely one of those guys that kind of gets us going.
It looked like everyone who was supposed to do their job, the ones you mainly count on, did that. You had Jonah had a touchdown. Jeremiah Tabb was Jeremiah Tabb.
Yeah.
You had the great game running the ball. Mm-hmm. So everybody did what they were supposed to do.
It really was. We early in the game, Hunter Purdue had the long run to set up some stuff, and our tight end Anderson Clark had 3 catches. And so we got a lot out of a lot of people, and can't say enough. Our offensive line, we've been mixing up that lineup each week, and the guys came off the ball. Prattville had a big defensive front. They were talented, and so to be able to do that against a talented front, it just shows it was a real team effort. But yeah, you're right. As far as the stars of the show, the Jonas, the Jeremiahs, the Javon Pulliams, Trey Sanders, those guys that we look to have big games, they did. And so nothing's going to change moving forward in regards to that. A lot of people say it's about the Jimmies and Joes and not the X's and O's, and there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah. Well, the Bucs were winners by a score of 48-23, and very much could have been the score at halftime was 20-14, but then they got a cheapy field goal at the end, and I don't want to harp on that too much, but the officials came to you afterward and said they messed that up.
Yeah, they got it wrong, and so unfortunately some stuff happened apparently in the press box to mysteriously get a second back on the clock, which allowed them to, kick a field goal right there. And thankfully it didn't mess up the result of the game, but it very well could have. So, the officiating crew owned up to it, and they apologized. So glad it's behind us. Hopefully it's a learning opportunity. You never want, not just our game, but sports in general, you don't want it to be dictated by officiating. You want it to be dictated by the play on the field. And so hopefully we can move forward and they can learn from it, and it don't hurt us too bad.
And Auburn had the same situation on Saturday, not to jump over to college football, but there was a letter that had been issued, or a statement issued by the SEC about how that had been mishandled. But what can you do after that? You
can't do anything, but I would argue that the Auburn call probably hurt Auburn a lot more than the second back on the clock for us. So you hate to see that. The reality of it is people are human, and we make mistakes. And so that's the reason why you don't ever want to leave it up to a call or maybe 2 calls that the officials make. So you just got to keep playing through those, right? That's adversity, just like if the other team scores a touchdown, it kind of fired us up at halftime. I was hot and talking to the officials before the half. So you went in, you got them riled up, and we were ready to play coming out of half.
You talked about last week that you were going to change some things on the offensive line. Can you elaborate on that now that you've done that? Because it looked like you moved some people from one side of the line to the other side of the line, just kind of swapping some people in positions.
Well, Braden Caribou, he took some snaps at center, and which is a little bit different. And Lincoln Anderson played a ton of snaps and did really, really well. He had a solid night for us, and Braden Prince came back in and played well for us, and Tyler Callens is still a heavy rotator into that mix. So just trying to find the right guys that mold together, and I think we have probably seven or eight guys that really, really can play. So we'll continue to mess with that lineup and try to find the best lineup for each week moving forward.
A lot of too much is made up of who starts the game and maybe who plays the most. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and listen, the guys that start sometimes get less snap than the guys that come in. And a lot of football is who has the hot hand, defensive line wise, defensive back. We have some rotators that play a ton. Had some things happen where we had some backup linebackers that had to come in, and they had some very valuable snaps. And Nate Johnson and Rocky McKinnon came in and really had several tackles each. So at this point of the year, it's all really about depth and how you can grow your depth and have guys ready, what we call Friday ready. And thankfully our backups and those younger guys have been really working their tails off in order to be prepared for their moment. And we had some young running backs early in the year have to do that, and we have some linebackers and even some defensive linemen. We still have freshmen, a freshman offensive lineman in Braden Caribou, and we have a defensive lineman, Jamon Knight, that plays several snaps. So we're still a young football team trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and you had a young running back get a touchdown in Weatherly, so he's done very well and being pushed into action maybe a little sooner than you wanted.
Yeah, but they're responding, and that's what you want in your guys. You want those young guys to be able to go out there, and sometimes they're thrown to the fire and they mess up, but as long as they can learn from it and grow and somehow find ways to help your team win, and those guys have done that. I'm really proud of our young guys that have been forced into roles, whether they're supposed to or not. They're there and they're playing well.
Not all the news Friday was good news because you had one of your key players on defense injured.
Yeah, unfortunate. We actually had two guys go down. The other is fine, but Tyson Bacon suffered an injury Friday night, and you hate to see that for anybody, but a guy that was really heating up for the season. Very unfortunate, and he's going to recover and be stronger than ever. But yeah, it hurts when one of your top guys go down.
What will happen in terms of playing time for someone who's going to fill in when he's out?
Yeah, well, that defensive line, Coach Davis does a great job of really rotating those guys in. So, where Tyson plays probably, 35 to 45 snaps, those snaps have to get absorbed by Jamarion, and then Joe Johnson, several guys, Jordan Williams, Jamon Knight. Those guys are going to get shuffled around in there, and they're going to have to take on some more snaps, and which the focus level, the conditioning level, there's a lot of factors that go into that.
Yeah. We love playing at the Met. There's no question about that. That's, one of the best places to watch a football game, for us to broadcast a football game. There's something unique about Prattville. They redid their entire stadium, but your crowd was on what would be the old home side. Mm-hmm. And, man, we were also broadcasting from the home side, the old home side, which is the visitor side, and it was loud. They were stomping their feet on those aluminum bleachers. It was something else.
It was, and our fan base, they travel and they're faithful, and they were cheering our guys on, and what they probably realized, but in sports, the reason why you have fans is to cheer on, is to make sure the intensity and the game atmosphere is where it needs to be. And a lot of times our guys will feed off those fans, and I think vice versa, right? So it was a fun night because our fans fed off of our good play, and then our players fed off of our fan interaction. And so overall it was good for the Bucks.
The win, combined with some other competitions in Region 3, kind of changed the look of the region a little bit. And so you're really not in terrible position right now. You just have to take care of business.
And then you said it. You got to come out every week, and we really need to win out. And, we have a long road ahead of us, but we feel good about where we're at. We feel good about our team and the guys and how they progress. I told them for the last several weeks, when we figure it out, we're going to be a dangerous team. And hopefully last week was one step closer to figuring it out. And, hitting this stretch right here, this last 5 games, and putting our best foot forward and putting some wins on the board and hopefully, let the playoffs see how they need to.
I know you never really take that season off, but it's hard to believe that we're halfway through the regular season of 2025.
It's gone by very, very fast.
Yeah.
Very, very fast. And, you spend so much time in preparation that you get into it, and all of a sudden, you get on this like cycle each week where your Sundays look like this, your Mondays look like this, and the next thing you know, we're in week 5, and your head's down, you're grinding, you're constantly, doing what you need to do in film and preparation for the guys and getting them ready. It happens fast, and that's the reason why your preparation is so important, because it goes by so fast. You really got to put in the work in the off season in order to be prepared for the season.
Well, here we are on Wednesday, and the rain kind of got to you today with practice and the lightning even before that. So you mentioned before we went on there that you're going to do some things differently tomorrow to kind of finish up what you were going through today.
Yeah, we usually go in the morning, and we have a final walkthrough, and it's not really a walkthrough. We have helmets on. We're going at pace, but and then we have what we call a mock game. So it's going to be a little bit different. We did get some lightning issues today that we had to go into the gym. We got a lot of work done, a lot of mental, and we still got some inside stuff as far as our inside runs, our blitz pickups. We're still able to get some really good work done. But tomorrow will look a little bit different. We got to get the game speed a little bit, and so we'll do some skelly and we'll do some team versus swaps. We'll modify tomorrow morning a little bit. We'll still take care of their legs. We'll still take ice baths in the afternoon and get ready to play. But again, the work is the work, right? Where you get it in sometimes changes due to your circumstances, and today it was weather. So we're going to get it in one way or the other and be prepared for Friday.
Well, we're going to talk about this coming Friday's game in just a moment, but first of all, we're going to tell you about our host here at Beef O'Brady's, and it is Wednesday Wing Night. That's one of our favorite nights, and of course we come in and take advantage of the 99-cent wings that they have here on Wednesday night, but they have specials every night of the week. On Monday it is Burger Monday, you got Taco Tuesday, Wings Wednesday, of course, and on Thursday they have a ribeye steak sandwich or a Philly's cheesesteak sandwich, along with a cowboy steak salad. So you can't go wrong on any of those nights. Friday is fish and chips Friday. They even have specials on Saturday and Sunday. A lot of places don't have specials on the weekend, but they do, because you can have a cheeseburger and wings on Saturday, and then you've got the kids combo on Sunday, and you got a chance to put together a combo with a meal deal. So we invite you to come out, tell them that you appreciate them sponsoring the Coaches Show, and we will certainly appreciate seeing you out here next Wednesday if you haven't made it out here already tonight. Well, Coach, you got a non-region ball game on Friday, but it's not going to be an easy broadcast. An easy ball game, or a broadcast for that matter, but because you are playing a team that's the defending 6A champs, and I think they're still ranked in the 1 or 2 in the state for 6A.
Yeah, and we talked about it earlier in the year. Our schedule is what it is. We have no easy outs. And so Coach Warren does a great job over at Parker and preparing those guys. And typically, just like every year, he's going to have a handful of really, really talented guys that he leans on, just like we do. So it's going to be a big matchup. And the guys are excited about it. We have a bad taste in our mouth from last year, losing on the last couple series of the game. So the guys are putting in, man, I'm telling you, the last 3 weeks of preparation have been really, really good. And so, and all this playoff implication, as weird as it sounds, it can get down to where it's a non-conference deal that plays a factor into it. So we see it as a playoff game, and we're going to go at it accordingly. So excited about the challenge, excited about getting over there. They have a great atmosphere, a great stadium, a good team, and the coaching staff does a great job over there. So, ready to get after it, and it's going to be a tall task.
I keep referring back to Media Day back a couple of weeks before the season actually kicked off, but you had 4 players there, and they asked someone asked them, which game do you look forward to? And I think it was split between Spain Park and Parker. Mm-hmm. Both of those teams were schools that you lost to last year.
Right.
They didn't mention Region 3 because you ran the table last year.
Yeah.
But your players are looking forward to redeeming themselves from last season.
Yeah, and listen, to say that we don't, is not, it's just, it would be false. Those guys, especially the ones that were playing last year, they have a bad taste in their mouth after those losses. When you feel like you have an opportunity to go out and win every single game and you don't, that leaves that thought like, man, we need to get back at that one. And so that doesn't change anything. I think it's their homecoming, and so there's different ways to motivate your team, and this is one of them. And those guys, I don't know how much motivation we need, but we got to take care of business Friday night.
What can you tell us about Parker outside the fact that they're going to have great athletes?
Yeah, well, they do a good job, especially in the run game, of making sure they're disguising their coverages up front. They have Vodney Cleveland, who is a Texas commit. Big-time player who we're going to have to combo and make sure we have 2 hats on. But then their other players do a great job too. And I don't know all of them by name, but I know their number, due to watching film. And, number 0 at linebacker, 40 and 41 at defensive ends, they just really play fast. And sometimes they make mistakes, but I tell my guys all the time too, if you play fast, you can make up for your mistakes, and they certainly do that. They fly around. And then offensively, they have some guys back there. They have a stable of running backs that can really go. So we have our hands full on both sides of the ball. And but the thing about it is we have an opportunity to win offensively. We have an opportunity to win defensively, and then in special teams. So I feel like we have a great game plan. Guys have been preparing well, and it'll be a big win for us on Friday.
We haven't talked a whole lot about your special teams. How would you assess their play so far this year?
Really good. Last week our kickoff coverage wasn't what I wanted it to be, and we've spent some extra time and some film doing that. But for the most part, those guys have been really, really solid. Field goal kicker, we've been pretty consistent in putting the ball through the uprights, and then Grant Morrison, our punter, has done a great job of really flipping the field when given the opportunity. Thankfully, he didn't have to kick much last week, but in games prior to that, he's really done a great job of flipping the field. So, I get after them quite a bit. Those kickers during practice, they're working, and Coach Halford does a great job of making sure they're getting after it. And so, when it's their time to shine, they go out and they perform.
So, as we look forward to this game this coming Friday night, one of the things that we want to mention to fans is that they are instituting some type of policy where if you're 17 years or under, you have to be accompanied by an adult. Can you speak to that at all? Do you know
well, not that I know in detail, but I know if in the Birmingham City schools, they implemented you have to have a guardian or parent escort you to the game. And so I guess you can't just come and drop your kids off, or, kids can't just show up. So I think it's a great rule. Obviously, there's a level of accountability there. So they're just trying to make sure the atmosphere in the venue is safe and good for all fans.
And that doesn't apply to our band. They're perfectly taken care of, even though they got 300 strong. It'd be nice to have that many parents that would show up. That's 300 times 2 with the mom and the dad. And,
right, exactly.
You'd want that kind of turnout. Well, Coach, any final thoughts before we wrap it up here in terms of where you are at this point in the season, halfway through the season, and still got 5 more regular season games to go?
Well, our guys are working really, really hard, and we've had some injuries this year, and we continue to have injuries, unfortunately. But, when you put all this stuff together, the coaching staff, the players, our administration, Dr. Lamy, our athletic director, he's here tonight, and it's his birthday. So that's how much he cares about our program. And so happy birthday, Dr. Lamy. And but it's a group effort. It really is. And our administrations have been great this year, have given us support, not only in the classroom, through study hall, resources. Can't say enough about what we're doing. And I'm glad to see the results start to take place, and really look forward to the last home stretch, the 5 games right here. So it's going to be a big week for us, like every week, and can't wait to get out there.
Well, we'll have the broadcast here on the NFHS Network. You'll be able to watch that on Friday night. We'll be on the air around 6:45, and the kickoff is at 4. 7 o'clock. And we hope that if you don't make it out to the game at Parker High School, that you'll at least tune in and watch the game here on the NFHS Network. That's going to wrap it up for us on this Wednesday night. Again, it's Wednesday Wing Night. Our thanks to our host again, Beef O'Brady's, and we encourage you to come out and join us next Wednesday night if you haven't joined us here this evening. And the other thing we want to thank you for just tuning in every week, and that's going to wrap it up. Oh, I know what I was going to say. There are some very good highlights that you're going to see when we go off the air here, so stay tuned for that. And good to see that win come up on the board as the Bucks now stand at 2-3 and try to get back to 500 on Friday night. That's going to do it for us. For the coach, I'm Jeff Lloyd, and we'll talk to you Friday night from Parker High School.
Go Bucks.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome into Hoover High School football. I'm Jeff Lloyd along with Ariel Schaefer, and we're here at Prattville High School as the Bucks are looking to get back on the winning track, taking on the Prattville Lions. He's going to squirt through. He's going to run for the touchdown.
Finally, the run works for the Bucks.
Fake in a pass. The tab, he gets by a man. He's at the 30. He kingles to the right side. He's to the 15, the 10. He's going to score, and that's a touchdown.
Get the ball into your playmaker's hands.
He breaks free, and he's going to go. Oh, actually, it's a touchdown by the quarterback, Freeman. The keeper by the quarterback. He's on a fumble the ball, loose ball. The Bucks have it. They got a chance to recover it. It's Pulliam, and he is dragging people with him all the way to the 1-yard line. How about that? Pulliam again. Freeman is going to pass over the right side, and it's going to be caught, and that's going to be a race to the goal line. It's Tab. Touchdown, Hoover.
Jeremiah Tabb, what can we say?
And they're going to give the ball to Jonah, trying to get outside. He's got the first down the near sideline. He's got the touchdown. Mosley trying to go over 100 yards, bounces off the tackle. He's at 100. He's got more, and he's got a touchdown.
You know, we got to be able to just play more consistently. So, you know, we talked about it this week. We're done with having fun. It's time for business and time to get to winning. And thankfully, we found a way to win tonight. We just knew we had to play. Some unfortunate turnovers right there gave them the score. Defensively, we played really well at times tonight. So we got to clean it up. We got to get ready. But it's tough to get region wins, and we did that tonight.